everyone, welcome to the 3 Wick Thesis Candle channel. My name is Tracy, and this video is a part of my Light the Way series where I'll take an individual candle and review it for you, give you cold impression, warm impression, and then I grade it on a rubric and give you an idea of where I would score it in terms of its performance, its aesthetics, and its authenticity, things that we all kind of care about when we're shopping around for a candle. If you like this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up so that I end up in your algorithm, and also if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I also do haul videos, empties, burn rotations. I do a lot of new release collabs with Goose Creek, so kind of do a little bit of everything and would love to have you join me and watch more of my videos. For today's Light the Way review, we are doing a White Barn candle by Bath&BodyWorks. It's called Fiji White Sands. It's a part of their neutral line. You've got this it's pretty white, by just a tinge of off-white, almost like a hint of gray in the label, and then you have a beige lid to go with it in the matte finish. The wax on this one is also white, matches the jar almost exactly. And then these are core wicks. And usually for me, when I burn core wicks, the candle seems to have a smoother burn. It can also get pretty hot. Historically, the neutral line usually for me does one of two things. It either duds out halfway and really struggles to recover, or it burns so hot that it really soots even after like an hour and a half. So I'll be curious to see how this one performs with the core wicks. The scent notes on this one are fresh cut sugarcane, white nectarine, and sandalwood. So let's take a cold impression. Yeah, that's really nice. Although I don't really get the white nectarine. There's definitely some sweetness. I'm guessing that's coming from the sugarcane. And given that it's fresh cut, I think that would explain some of there's just kind of like an earthiness. It almost feels like beach grass to me, like real beach grass, not like the scent beach grass. So you definitely get some freshness, and you get the sweetness. There is a bright note, so that might be the nectarine, and you get the sandalwood. The sandalwood is really nice. It's not overpowering. I feel like it's well balanced with the sugar. It almost reads to me like coconut. And maybe that's just because I see Fiji White Sands and my brain thinks like laying in the sun and wearing sunscreen. And so this has what feels to me a little bit like a sunscreen vibe, which I don't mind. It's not like a copper tone. It's not like that really strong coconut fake artificial sort of sunscreen. But I definitely get a beachy vibe, putting on some lotion, laying in the sun. Yeah, it's really pretty. It also feels a little bit dusty to me. In a good way, not in a bad way. Yeah, so I'm excited to try this one out. I'm usually a huge fan of sandalwood, and I feel like sandalwood can really present itself in different ways depending on what it's paired with. And this one, it just feels, it really feels like beechwood, like you're sitting in the sun, and you know how the wood that ends up on the beach and it gets kind of dried out and it has that smell. It kind of reminds me of that. So yeah, really nice. I am super excited about this. I will go ahead and cut the video. I'm going to burn it for a couple of hours at least once, take some video of it burning, give you some insights into how I think it does, how it performs, how it smells on warm, and then I will return here right after the cut and give you that feedback. Okay, so this video is about 2 hours post initial burn, and in general it had a good wax pool. It did go all the way to the edge, and you can see from the jar that the wax pool is about 1 centimeter deep, which is about right where you would want it to be. You will see in the video that the flames on this are quite high, especially on the left-hand side. They're really kind of spraying out of the jar. This is likely due to the core wicks. It did get really hot really fast. On a second burn that I did, I had a similar problem. I do trim my wicks. I trimmed them to what I thought might be almost too short, and the same problem developed pretty quickly. So within an hour, the flames were really high, and within an hour and a half, the candle was sitting pretty bad. So this one is a hot burner, at least in the first half, and I would recommend at least keeping an eye on it if you are going to be burning it for more than a couple of hours, because it may need to be extinguished sooner rather than later. I'm curious to see how this plays out in the long term. I'll have more feedback on that when I review this during an empties video the month that I finish it off. If we take a look at the overhead view, we have small carbon heads. They're not really huge. This, at least for the first burn. I will say that with the second burn, the carbon heads got massive. They really mushroomed out, which may have been what was leading to the sooting. I ended up extinguishing the candle. I use a wick dipper, and those mushrooms ended up falling off into the wax. Luckily, I have a pair of tweezers I saved specifically for my candles, and I was able to pick those elements out. But I imagine if you don't have those tools and you continue to extinguish the candle in the same way that I do, that wax is going to get super sooty by the end of the candle. Again, just something to keep in mind. It's possible that this could have burn issues in the future. Let's talk about the candle performance rubric. In terms of scent quality, I was a little bit perplexed by how much I feel like this candle smells like coconut, and I would argue that on warm, that didn't change. I think it is the sandalwood with a hint of the nectarine coming through, and probably the sugarcane that gives it a coconut element. But for me, I just feel like this is a coconut, sort of coconut sands candle, and I would like to see a coconut scent note, or just toss coconut in there so that it's more rounded out and makes sense to the person who's buying it. So for that reason, I did assign a B in terms of scent quality, and that's because I think it's close to the description, but it is slightly off, which makes me think there's a little bit of inauthenticity, but it's still a pleasant overall scent. Now for throw, despite this being a really hot, effective burn, I will say that in a small space, I'd put this at around a 3.5 to 4 out of 5. I moved it down into my open concept area. It really only filled out 2 of the 3 areas in that space, and I would put it at about a 3.5 out of 5. So in terms of rubric, I'm giving this a B. It does have good throw, but it definitely does not fill out the open concept room. In terms of burn quality, while it did have an even burn, I do feel like there's going to be some ongoing issues with high flame, sooting, carbon mushrooms, and wax quality being degraded due to soot. So for that reason, I assigned a B on the rubric for burn quality. And then aesthetic design, as with the other neutrals at Bath&BodyWorks, I think the design is pleasing. It's really nice to have something neutral that you can add to a modern decor. It kind of goes with everything that anybody would have in their house. But at the same time, it really lacks uniqueness because it looks exactly like all of the other neutral lines, just the color of the jar is different. So that resulted in this candle receiving a B on the rubric. So overall, with 4 Bs, that puts this candle at a 3.0 out of a 4.0 grade point scale, which makes it a solid B. I don't know that this will be a repurchase for me. I do enjoy the scent. It doesn't make me excited, and I fear that I won't be drawn to this candle with the other choices I have available to me that are somewhat similar. And I'll highlight that I recently did a cold impression of the Warm Coconut Sands candle from Goose Creek. I've since burned that candle, and I prefer it over this one. They smell similar to me, except for the Goose Creek one actually notes a coconut scent, and in general, I feel like it's a more well-balanced, authentic read of a very similar scent. So for that reason, I don't see myself repurchasing this candle, and I think it's going to compete strongly with the one I got from Goose Creek this week. I'll go ahead and put that haul video in the description in case you want to check that out. I hope this review has provided you with some important insights and that it's helped you to make a decision about whether or not you are excited about Fiji White Sands. If you have any questions about the candle, or if you burn the candle and you want to contribute information to the community, feel free to leave me a comment below, and I will see you again next time. Thank you all.